All right, so tomorrow I'm going into the hospital for a back surgery, and I wanted to do some food prep so I'm not really going to have to worry about meals for the next few days. And I made up a huge batch of chicken spaghetti, which is an old family recipe. And I always get asked how to make it, and so I'm going to share that with you here. Everybody in our family makes it. We all make it a little bit different, but it's all great. We're a bunch of good cooks in our family. And this is just, it looks really simple, but it's just really incredibly delicious. And it's one of those dishes where leftovers taste even better than the first night when you make it. So I'm going to show you how to make our family's chicken spaghetti. All right, let's go over the total ingredient list. So I've got olives. Usually it calls for 1 can. I like extra olives, so I'm doing 2. A little jar of diced tomatoes, a package of spaghetti, some cheddar cheese. I think my mom actually uses like a mild or medium cheddar. I'm using sharp, that's what I grabbed. 1 bell pepper and 1 medium onion. It also calls for 1 whole chicken. Now, my grocery store today was out of whole chickens. Well, they had 2, and they were like these really tiny heirloom chickens that were $15. And they were just like 2 something pounds, like 2.5 pounds. So I got like 5.5 pounds of bone-in chicken thighs instead, because it was $7 for 5.5 pounds of chicken. So I'm just going to use bone-in chicken thighs. So I'm going to set that on the stove and just get that boiling and boil that until it's completely cooked. It's almost done. I forgot to mention, I did, of course, salt and pepper the water. But it's almost done. We'll come back in a few minutes. I took out all the chicken and set it aside and cool it down. Probably going to throw some ice cubes on that to help it cool down faster because I do have a meeting coming up soon. But chicken thighs are cooling. Now I'm going to take this broth right here and I'm going to strain it into another bowl and set it aside. So just going to take that. I just kind of want to get the rest of any or whatever out of it. And I'm going to scrape out any skin left at the bottom of that pot. All right, so I have the broth set aside. I have the chicken cooling down so I can pick it apart and get all the meat off. And I put a little bit of olive oil in a medium heat pan. And I am just going to cook the bell pepper and onion until it's translucent. Now this is one of the steps that not everybody in our family does. Not everybody puts bell pepper in it. I think everybody puts onion in it. I'm not sure. but I know not everybody puts bell pepper in it. So I'm going to go ahead and cook these until that they are translucent. Also to this, while the veggies are sweating down and cooking down, I'm adding some paprika. So after the vegetables have cooked to a translucent state, I added all of that strained broth from when we cooked the chicken back into the pot. I'm going to get that to boiling, and we are going to add the pasta in there and cook the pasta in the broth. And I did take all the chicken and take it off the bones and get all the skin out and kind of roughly chop that up into smaller pieces. Don't throw away your bones and skin. I save that in a bag in the freezer for next time I'm making a big batch of chicken bone stock. So the spaghetti noodles go exactly right in that broth. So we've got the broth in there, the cooked onions, and the bell peppers. And we're just going to cook this until the noodles get al dente. In the meantime, I'm going to grate the cheese. Okay, so I have just put the heat down to about a medium, a little bit under medium heat again. The noodles are cooked to a nice al dente. And I am going to add in the chicken. And I'm going to kind of stir that in and get the chicken heated up back again. It should get a nice hot temperature. And I'm going to add in this jar of pimentos. So I'm going to stir this really good, get it incorporated, and get that chicken heated back up. So now that that is incorporated and the chicken is almost right back up to temperature, I'm going to start adding in the grated cheese, and just a little bit at a time, and I'm going to stir that in. And the cheese is going to start thickening everything up. It's starting to get thicker now. I'm just going to do little handfuls of cheese at a time. For the amount of cheese, I did a little over that half of that 1 pound block. Really, this is up to your taste. I don't think on this you can really get too cheesy. But the cheese is really going to thicken up the whole mixture. So you're going to want to add that cheese into batches and then get it really incorporated in and melted into the dish. Now it's time to thicken up our mixture just a little bit more. We want it a little bit runny, but we don't want it like a soup like this. So we're going to take a little bit of cornstarch, and I'm going to do a couple tablespoons of cornstarch, a little bit of water, and we're going to make a slurry with that. And I'm going to raise the heat back up a little bit, mix up my cornstarch slurry, and add that right in there. I'm going to bring this up to heat a little bit more and make sure that that gets it thickened up again. Remember, I want it a little bit runny, but not like a soup like this anymore. Just a little bit. Because remember, your leftovers are going to thicken up quite a bit too. You don't want it to be one big block of spaghetti when you're done. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this a little bit more to get that cornstarch slurry really incorporated in. I went ahead and tasted my mixture, and I thought that it needed the rest of that cheese. So I added the rest of that 1 pound block of cheese. So I am using a whole pound of cheese in this. And it needed a little bit more salt and pepper. So I added some more to that. And I'm going to stir it and let the rest of that cheese really melt in. Okay, so now it is getting to be a nice thicker consistency. Still a little bit of runniness to it, so you have a sauce, but not totally runny like a soup. And I'm going to add in 2 cans of olives. I think the recipe originally called for 1 can. But you'll notice during the leftovers, everybody tries to start scooping out the olives. I'm a big believer in extra olives in this. Everybody wants the olives in their chicken spaghetti. And we are almost done. I'm just going to cook this for another couple minutes to heat up these olives. And then here we go. A big bowl of finished chicken spaghetti where the leftovers are going to be even better than the first night when you serve it. And this is going to last me for days. I'm going to be eating this for days as I recover from my surgery now.